What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the ZTE Blade A3 Prime. So let's get started. So this is the ZTE Blade A3 Prime, one of the latest budget devices from ZTE. Now, for full transparency, I just want to let you know that I did purchase this phone with my own money. However, I have collaborated with ZTE in the past. They did send me out to their headquarters in Dallas, Texas in October of 2019, and that was a pretty cool experience. I do have a vlog on the channel where I documented most of that. But since then, my main contacts over at the company have moved on to other opportunities, so I don't currently have any connections with them. But I still wanted to check out one of their new devices. Now, this phone is being offered at both Visible and Yahoo Mobile, which are essentially the same company. And there are two different ways that you can get this phone. You can either pay $99 for it, or it is eligible for the swap program. Essentially, you swap in one of your older devices, and then you get this device for free. You do also have to swap in your phone number as well, so you have to port that in. But go over to Visible's website to learn more about that. But the point is that this device is very affordable, regardless of which way you go. So that's pretty awesome. But here's what the box looks like. You can see ZTE Blade A3 Prime branding right there in the front. Let's open this up. I did already open up the box and set up the phone for the sake of saving some time. But here is the phone itself. Now, the device does come with a removable battery, and the battery doesn't come pre-installed in the phone. So I did, of course, put the battery in the phone already, but we'll put the phone off to the side for a second here. In the box, we have a quick start guide for the phone. We also have a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer, so very awesome. And we have a USB wall adapter. And here is the actual phone itself. Now, you probably already noticed that this phone doesn't feature any sort of groundbreaking design elements. We don't have a notch or a hole punch for the front-facing camera. And also, this is kind of a rare thing nowadays, the screen is a perfect rectangle. The corners are squared off, which I actually prefer. So overall, I do like the design in general, but we'll talk about that more in a little bit. With the phone, we're getting a 5.45-inch display. The display itself is 720p. We're getting a PPI of 295. And an 18:9 aspect ratio. So the display actually looks pretty decent here with the phone. I do have the brightness turned up to 100%, but in general it does get decently bright, and the screen does look decently crisp and clear as well, especially considering that this is a very budget device. Now, the front-facing camera is 5 megapixels. We actually get a notification light here on the phone as well, which is another thing that's pretty rare. Now, internally, we're getting 32 gigabytes of storage, and out of the box, you get 20 of those 32 gigs available. So 12 of those gigs take up the OS and other pre-installed applications. And the phone also features micro SD card expansion, so you can put a micro SD card in the device up to 2 terabytes. So that is pretty awesome. Now, on the back side of the phone, we do have a fingerprint sensor, so it's nice and quick, which is great. This phone does feature face authentication as a method to unlock the phone, which is pretty cool as well. And then another unique feature is that with the phone, we are getting an 8 megapixel rear camera, but we're also getting a dual flash. I can't think of any phones that I've seen this year that feature a dual flash on the back. So that's pretty interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to using that when I take my test photos and videos for the device to prepare for the full review. So good job, ZTE. That's kind of a cool quirk, and I'm glad that you included it. Now, here's how things look through the camera app here on the phone. There's no portrait mode, by the way, so I just wanted to let you know about that. And it's a pretty basic setup overall, but that is to be expected, especially again for a phone in this price range. Now, here's how things look through the front-facing camera. Of course, for me to completely judge the quality of these cameras, I will have to go out and take a bunch of photos and videos to really analyze those to see what the final results look like. But so far, it seems pretty decent. So that's good. Now, internally, with this device, we're getting 2 gigabytes of RAM, and we're getting the MediaTek Helio A22 processor. So neither of those things are necessarily too powerful, but at the same time, I don't feel like either of those are too bad, considering that this is a very entry-level phone. Now, unfortunately, I did attempt to run an Antutu benchmark test here on the device, but the app simply would not work on the phone. After about several minutes, the app crashed, and I attempted it 5 different times, including rebooting the phone to try to get it to work. So it looks like we won't be getting any benchmark scores with this device, unfortunately, but I'm definitely looking forward to, of course, testing it out with real world usage to really see what it can do. Now, I did install a variety of my own applications here on the phone as well, so that I can use those as I test out the phone. And in general, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, video recording with the device maxes out at 1080p. We are getting a decently beefy 2660 milliamp hour removable battery. So that's pretty rare as well. You don't really see too many phones nowadays with removable batteries. Now, typically, I would say that it's nice to have a removable battery because you can purchase other batteries to swap out. You could even technically have multiple batteries, and then throughout the day, if the phone does run out of battery, put the new battery in. But I don't really know necessarily where you can buy replacement batteries. So until I'm able to investigate that a little bit more and see if there's even a place to buy additional batteries, then I don't really see having a removable battery as necessarily being a perk. On the other hand, I don't see it as being a bad thing either. Now, the software on here is Android 10. Optimization seems pretty good. Of course, I'm going to have to use the phone quite a bit more until I can give you my full thoughts about that, so stay tuned for the review. But typically with ZTE devices, they do a good job at keeping bloatware at a minimum and also giving you a decent software experience. So it looks like we're getting an experience here that's pretty close to stock Android, which I definitely like to see. Now, as far as the hardware itself goes, I already talked a bit about the front panel here, but you can see we are getting kind of thicker bezels on the bottom and top of the device. But on the other hand, I feel like it still is a pretty decent looking phone. I do appreciate, again, that we do have these squared off corners. It seems like nowadays every single device that comes out has to have rounded corners. So I suppose they do that to make the phone look a bit more sleek, and they're trying to mimic the look of the iPhone 11. But I'm more of a practicality over form type of person, and I certainly do appreciate having devices with these squared off corners. It's a little thing that does make a bit of a difference. Now, on the left side of the phone, there's nothing. On the right side of the phone, we have the power button and volume buttons. Then on the top, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, and we have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom, we have a little grab area to take the cover off the back of the phone. We have the microphone, and we have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer. That's another cool thing to see, is that we are indeed getting USB-C with the device in this price range. That is pretty rare, so in general, I'm a big fan of that. And another nice thing too to keep in mind is that I had a very easy time taking the back off the phone. Now, it is very securely on here, but with other devices that this competes against, I haven't always had the best experience with removing the back cover. I'm not sure why this is, but with many other phones with removable backs, you either have to really dig your fingernails into it to try to pull it off, or in some situations, I've even caused damage accidentally to the phone trying to remove the back cover. But thankfully, with the Blade A3 Prime, that's simply not an issue. It's pretty easy to take this cover on and off. And that's certainly helpful because under the back, we of course have the removable battery, but also the SIM card slot and micro SD card slot. So in general, I think they did a good job designing this phone. It looks nice. I like the way it looks on the back as well. We do have a speaker here in the back side. We have the camera module, fingerprint sensor, and ZTE logo. So in general, nothing too special about this phone, but then again, it is a $99 device, and it seems like they are giving us quite a few things here for the money. I would say that my favorite highlights so far about this phone include having 32 gigs of storage, getting USB-C on the bottom, and that dual flash seems pretty interesting as well. But this is my hands-on and first impressions video about the ZTE Blade A3 Prime. Definitely let me know what you think of the device in the comment section below. But my name is Kevin, and I hope you have an excellent day.